Captain Jake Morrison floated in the observation deck of the International Space Station, watching Earth slowly turn below him. The blue and white marble looked peaceful from up here, but something on his instruments was making his stomach turn cold. The long-range sensors were picking up signals that should not exist. 24 hours ago, space had been empty beyond Mars. Now his screens showed massive objects moving toward Earth at impossible speeds. Jake rubbed his eyes and checked the readings again. The computer said there were 12 ships out there, each one the size of a small moon. He grabbed the communication headset with shaking hands. "Houston Control, this is Jake Morrison on ISS. I need you to confirm my sensor readings immediately." The voice from Earth crackled through the speakers. "Jake, we see them too. Stand by for emergency protocols. Far beyond Earth's orbit, fleet." Commander Zexithara stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion Claw. His reptilian eyes studied the blue world ahead of them. The ship around him was alive, its walls pulsing gently with biomechanical rhythms. Organic cables carried information through the vessel like blood vessels in a giant creature. Zexithara's scaled hands moved across the living control panel. Data flowed directly into his mind through neural connections. Earth was a perfect target. The dominant species had barely left their own planet. Their weapons were primitive chemical explosives and basic nuclear devices. Their fastest ships moved like crawling insects compared to Draconian vessels. "Commander," his second-in-command hissed through sharp teeth, "the planet shows no significant defensive capabilities. Our victory will be swift." Zexithara nodded slowly. In 300 years of conquest, the Draconian Empire had never met serious resistance. Species always fell the same way. First came fear, then desperate fighting, then surrender. This blue world would be no different. Back on Earth, Admiral Lisa Grant stood in the war room deep beneath NORAD Mountain. The screens around her showed the alien fleet taking position 50,000 kilometers above the planet. 12 massive ships hung in space like sleeping dragons, their biomechanical hulls gleaming in the sunlight. "Ma'am," a young officer called. "Out. All world governments are requesting immediate consultation. The President wants to know our options." Lisa stared at the displays. Humanity's most powerful weapons were nuclear missiles that could barely break free of Earth's gravity. The alien ships could probably swat them aside like annoying flies. "Tell the President we're working on it," she said quietly. Dr. Alan Cooper arrived at NORAD 3 hours later, still wearing his university teaching clothes. As Earth's leading expert on theoretical alien biology, he was now the most important man on the planet. The military officers made room for him at the main display table. "What can you tell us about them, Doctor?" Admiral Grant asked. Alan studied the ship designs on the screen. The vessels looked organic with curved surfaces and what appeared to be scales covering their hulls. "These ships suggest a reptilian species with advanced biotechnology. They've probably evolved their technology instead of building it with metals and circuits like we do. What does that mean for us?" "It means they think differently than we do. Their approach to war might be completely alien to our understanding." Alan paused, watching the ships maintain perfect formation in the void. "What worries me most is their behavior. They're not trying to communicate, they're studying us like scientists examining bacteria in a dish." On the ISS, Jake Morrison continued his observations. The alien ships had been motionless for 6 hours now. They were clearly scanning Earth, probably mapping every city, every military base, every population center. He could feel the weight of those alien eyes looking down at his homeworld. Commander Zexithara received the final reports from his scanning teams. Earth's population was concentrated in large cities that would be easy to capture. Their military forces were scattered and poorly coordinated. The planet had abundant resources and a comfortable climate for Draconian occupation. "Begin descent preparations," he ordered. "Deploy landing craft to the major population centers. We will demonstrate our superiority before demanding surrender." His officers moved to carry out the commands. Throughout the massive fleet, smaller ships began emerging from the biomechanical motherships. Each landing craft carried 2,000 Draconian warriors, equipped with energy weapons and personal shield generators. The conquest of Earth was about to begin. Dr. Helen Brooks sat in her laboratory at the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, monitoring atmospheric readings from around the world. Something strange was happening in the upper atmosphere. The electromagnetic readings were fluctuating in patterns she had never seen before. She picked up her phone and dialed the emergency line to NORAD. "This is Dr. Brooks at CDC. I need to speak with Admiral Grant immediately about the atmospheric anomalies." "Doctor, we're a bit busy with the alien invasion right now," the operator replied. "That's exactly why this is important. The electromagnetic signatures from those ships are interacting with our atmosphere in unexpected ways. Someone needs to pay attention to this data." Around the world, people looked up at the sky and saw the alien ships beginning to move. The massive vessels that had hung motionless in space were now descending toward Earth. Panic spread through the streets as the reality hit home. Humanity was about to face its first war with beings from another world. But high above the planet, something was already going wrong with the Draconian invasion plan. Commander Zexathara felt the first tremors of unease as his ships entered Earth's upper atmosphere. The bioneural networks that controlled his fleet were reporting minor malfunctions. Nothing serious yet, but enough to make an experienced commander worry. The blue world below them looked helpless and primitive, but space had taught Zexathara that appearances could be deadly. As his invasion fleet descended toward their target, he wondered if they had missed something important in their analysis of this small, seemingly defenseless planet. 3 days had passed since the alien fleet first appeared in Earth's sky. The massive ships had remained motionless like sleeping giants waiting for the right moment to strike. Then, without warning, everything changed. Colonel Danny Walsh stood on the roof of the Emergency Command Center in New York City, watching through binoculars as the first landing craft separated from the mothership above. The alien vessel was enormous, easily the size of a city block. Its biomechanical surface rippled and pulsed as it began its descent through the atmosphere. "All units, this is command," Danny spoke into his radio. "We have confirmed alien landing craft approaching major population centers. Begin immediate civilian evacuation procedures." The streets below erupted into chaos. People ran in every direction, some toward the evacuation zones, others just running anywhere that felt safer than where they stood. Cars honked and sirens wailed as the city tried to empty itself before the aliens arrived. Commander Zexathara watched from the bridge of his descending landing craft as the human city grew larger below them. The buildings looked fragile, like children's toys that could be swept away with a single energy blast. His warriors stood ready in the deployment bays, their scaled skin gleaming under the ship's organic lighting. "Commander," his tactical officer reported, "the humans are fleeing from their population centers. They show no signs of organized resistance." Zexathara nodded with satisfaction. Fear was always the first response of primitive species when faced with draconian might. Soon the human leaders would realize the futility of resistance and offer their surrender. It was always the same pattern across the galaxy. But something felt wrong. The ship's bioneural systems were sending confusing signals through the neural link. Navigation felt sluggish, like swimming through thick liquid. The organic computers that normally responded instantly to his thoughts were taking longer to process commands. Dr. Helen Brooks sat surrounded by computer screens in her Atlanta laboratory, studying the electromagnetic readings that were flooding in from monitoring stations around the world. The data made no sense according to everything she knew about atmospheric physics. "The alien ships are generating massive electromagnetic disturbances," she told Admiral Grant over the secure video link. "But it's not just what they're putting out. Something in our atmosphere is interfering with their signals." Admiral Grant's face looked tired and worried on the screen. "What does that mean for us, Doctor?" "I'm not sure yet. But look at these readings from the descent trajectory." Helen pulled up a chart showing the path of the alien landing craft. They should be moving in a straight line toward their targets. Instead, they're weaving back and forth like they're fighting some kind of turbulence. In London, another landing craft was approaching the city center. Captain Steve Miller of the British Royal Air Force watched from his fighter jet as the massive alien ship descended through the clouds. His orders were to observe and report, not to engage. Humanity's weapons were useless against technology this advanced. But something was clearly wrong with the alien vessel. It was wobbling in the air, its smooth descent interrupted by sudden jerky movements. Lights along its biomechanical hull were flickering on and off in irregular patterns. "Control, this is Miller," he reported over the radio. "The alien ship appears to be experiencing some kind of technical difficulties. It's not maintaining steady flight." The same scene was playing out in cities around the world. Landing craft that should have touched down within hours were struggling to maintain control. In Tokyo, an alien ship had stopped its descent completely and was hovering at 30,000 feet, neither advancing nor retreating. Commander Zexathara felt panic rising in his chest, an emotion he had not experienced in decades of warfare. His ship was barely responding to commands. The organic control systems were shutting down one by one, as if the ship itself was becoming sick. "Report," he demanded from his engineering teams. "Commander, all bio-neural networks are experiencing severe interference," came the reply. "The ship's organic components are rejecting their basic programming. It's like they're being poisoned by something in this planet's environment." Through the viewports, Zexathara could see other landing craft from his fleet struggling with the same problems. Ships that had conquered worlds across the galaxy were being defeated by an enemy they could not see or understand. Dr. Alan Cooper had joined Dr. Brooks in Atlanta, and together they were analyzing the data streaming in from around the world. The picture that emerged was incredible and terrifying at the same time. "Their technology is biological," Alan said, pointing at the readings on Helen's screens. "Those ships are essentially living creatures with metal grafted onto them. But Earth's magnetic field and atmospheric composition are different from their home world." "Different how?" "Think of it like this," Alan explained. "Their biotechnology evolved in a completely different environment. What works perfectly on their planet might be toxic here. Earth's electromagnetic field could be scrambling. Their organic computers the same way radiation can damage human DNA." Helen stared at the data with growing excitement. "You're saying Earth itself is defending us?" "Not defending exactly. But our planet's natural environment might be incompatible with their technology. They came here expecting to find a world they could easily conquer, but they never considered that Earth might be naturally hostile to their way of life." On the ISS, Captain Jake Morrison was documenting everything he could see from orbit. The alien motherships were still functioning normally in the vacuum of space, but every landing craft that entered Earth's atmosphere was showing signs of distress. "Houston, this is Morrison," he reported. "The alien landing craft have stopped descending. They're all hovering at different altitudes, but none of them are making progress toward their targets." The voice from Mission Control was filled with barely controlled excitement. "Jake, can you confirm that none of the landing craft have reached the surface?" "Confirmed. They're all stuck between 15 and 30,000 feet altitude. It's like they hit some kind of invisible wall." In New York City, Colonel Danny Walsh watched through his binoculars as the alien ship hung motionless in the sky above Manhattan. The massive vessel was no longer descending. If anything, it seemed to be struggling just to stay airborne. "Reality units, hold evacuation procedures," he ordered over the radio. "The alien ship has stopped its approach. Repeat, the target is not advancing." Around the world, the same message was being repeated in dozens of languages. The alien invasion had ground to a halt, not because of human weapons or military strategy, but because Earth itself was rejecting the invaders. The planet that had seemed so defenseless was turning out to be humanity's greatest shield. The morning of the fourth day brought a sight that no human had expected to see. Every single alien landing craft hung frozen in the sky, unable to move up or down. They floated like giant metal whales trapped in an invisible net, their biomechanical hulls flickering with dying lights. Dr. Helen Brooks had not slept in 2 days. Her laboratory was filled with printouts and computer screens, showing electromagnetic readings from around the world. The pattern was now clear, and it was more incredible than she had dared to hope. "Admiral Grant," she said into her phone, "I need you to listen carefully. Earth's magnetic field is killing their ships." Admiral Grant's voice crackled through the speaker. "Explain that in simple terms, Doctor." "Think of their technology like plants from another world. Those plants might look strong and healthy, but if you bring them to Earth, our soil might poison them. Their biomechanical systems evolved in a completely different electromagnetic environment. Earth's magnetic field is scrambling their organic computers. Helen pulled up a chart on her main screen. Look at this altitude data. Every alien ship stopped working at exactly 15,000 feet above sea level. That's where Earth's electromagnetic field reaches a certain strength. Below that line, their technology simply cannot function. Captain Jake Morrison floated in the ISS observation deck, watching the alien motherships in high orbit. Unlike the trapped landing craft, the main fleet was still operational, but Jake could see smaller ships trying to descend to help the stranded vessels. Each rescue attempt ended the same way. The moment they hit that invisible barrier at 15,000 feet, the ships began to malfunction. "Houston, this is Morrison," he reported. "The aliens are trying to send help to their trapped ships, but every rescue vessel gets stuck at the same altitude. It's like Earth has a natural shield that only affects their technology." "Commander?" Zexithara stood on the bridge of his dying landing craft, feeling the ship's bio-neural system shutting down around him. The organic walls had stopped pulsing. The living computers were going silent one by one. His warriors were trapped in a vessel that was slowly becoming a metal tomb. Through the neural link, he could feel the pain of every ship in his invasion fleet. 12 landing craft, each carrying 2,000 of the Empire's finest warriors, all trapped by an enemy they could not fight. The primitive humans had not fired a single shot, yet they had defeated the mighty Draconian Empire. "Status report," he demanded, though he already knew the answer. "Commander, life support is failing on all levels. The bioatmospheric processors cannot maintain proper breathing conditions. We have perhaps 6 hours before the ship becomes uninhabitable," his engineering officer replied. Zexithara's scaled hands clenched into fists. In 300 years of conquest, nothing like this had ever happened. How could a primitive species defeat them without even trying? Dr. Alan Cooper stood in the NORAD command center, explaining the situation to military leaders from around the world. The main screen showed a cross-section view of Earth's atmosphere, with the alien ships marked as red dots, all stuck at the same invisible line. "The Draconians made a critical error," Alan said. "They studied our military capabilities, our weapons, our technology, but they never considered that Earth itself might be hostile to their way of life." General Pete Harrison, who had arrived from the Pentagon that morning, studied the display. "So, you're telling me that Earth is naturally protected against this specific type of alien technology?" "Exactly. It's like they brought wooden ships to fight in an ocean of acid. Their biomechanical systems simply cannot survive in our electromagnetic environment." "What about their motherships?" General Harrison asked. Alan pointed to the high orbit positions on the screen. "They're safe up there, above most of Earth's magnetic field influence, but they can't get down to the surface without their ships failing. They're as trapped as we thought we were." Lieutenant Karen Stone climbed into her F-16 fighter jet at Edwards Air Force Base in California. Her mission was different from what anyone had expected when the aliens first arrived. Instead of preparing for combat, she was going to take close-up photographs of the stranded alien vessels. "Control, this is Stone taking off for reconnaissance mission," she reported as her jet lifted into the clear desert sky. 20 minutes later, she was flying in a slow circle around one of the massive alien landing craft. The ship was clearly in distress. Parts of its biomechanical hull were changing color from healthy green to sickly yellow. Sections that had glowed with internal light were now dark and lifeless. "Control, the alien ship appears to be dying," she reported. "I can see what looks like infection or disease spreading across the hull. It's like watching a giant animal slowly getting sick." Inside that very ship, Commander Zexithara was facing the same realization. His flagship was not just malfunctioning, it was dying. The biomechanical components that made Draconian technology so advanced were being killed by Earth's environment. Every minute they remained trapped in the atmosphere, more systems failed. He opened a communication channel to the motherships in high orbit. "Fleet Command, this is Zexithara. All landing craft are compromised. We cannot advance, and we cannot retreat. Request immediate assistance." The reply came from Fleet Admiral Morgath aboard the command ship. Zexthara, we have attempted 17 rescue missions. Every ship that descends into the planet's lower atmosphere suffers the same fate. We cannot reach you without losing more vessels. Then what are our options? There was a long pause before the answer came. You have two choices, Commander. Abandon your ships and use emergency escape pods, or remain trapped until your vessels die around you. Dr. Brooks was receiving new data from monitoring stations around the world when she noticed something that made her heart race. The electromagnetic interference was getting stronger. Earth's magnetic field was actually adapting to the alien presence, becoming more hostile to their technology with each passing hour. Admiral Grant, she called urgently. The situation is getting worse for them. Earth's magnetic field is somehow learning to fight their technology more effectively. It's like our planet's immune system is recognizing the alien ships as a disease and trying to destroy them. Admiral Grant looked at the latest readings with amazement. How long do they have? At this rate of deterioration, I'd say less than 24 hours before their ships become completely non-functional. After that, anyone still aboard will be trapped in dead metal shells hanging in our sky. The realization hit everyone in the command center at the same time. Earth had not just stopped an alien invasion. It was slowly killing the invaders without any human intervention. The planet itself had become humanity's ultimate weapon, and it was more effective than anything they could have built or imagined. Commander Zexthara stood in his dying ship, staring down at the blue world that had defeated his mighty fleet. The humans below had not fired a single shot, had not launched a single missile, had not even tried to fight back. Yet they had won the war simply by living on a planet that was naturally toxic to Draconian technology. For the first time in his long military career, Zexthara began to understand that there were forms of power in the universe that could not be conquered by force. 2 weeks had passed since the alien ships first became trapped in Earth's atmosphere. What had started as an invasion had turned into a slow-motion disaster. The 12 massive landing craft hung in the sky like dying whales, their biomechanical hulls growing darker each day as their organic systems shut down. General Pete Harrison stood in the Pentagon briefing room, facing the most important decision of his career. On the screens around him were live feeds from the stranded alien vessels. Thermal imaging showed that life support was failing on most of the ships. Thousands of alien warriors were slowly dying in their metal prisons. "Sir," Colonel Danny Walsh said from his position at the main display, "our intelligence suggests that each ship carries approximately 2,000 Draconian soldiers. That's 24,000 beings who will be dead within days if we do nothing." General Harrison rubbed his tired eyes. The easy choice would be to let nature take its course. The aliens had come to conquer Earth after all. But something about the situation bothered him. These were living creatures, trapped and helpless. "What are our options?" he asked the room. Dr. Alan Cooper stepped forward with a thick folder of research. "We've been working on electromagnetic shielding that might protect their biotechnology from Earth's magnetic field. It's theoretical, but we think we can create portable devices that would allow their ships to function normally." "And then what? We fix their ships so they can invade us properly?" General Harrison asked. "That's the risk," Alan admitted. "But we could also use the technology to help them leave. If we can shield their ships long enough for them to return to orbit, they could retreat to their motherships and leave our solar system." Admiral Lisa Grant joined the conversation from her position at NORAD. Her face appeared on the main screen, looking exhausted but determined. "General, I've been monitoring communications between the trapped ships and their fleet in orbit. The aliens are debating whether to use their planet-killing weapons on us." A chill ran through the briefing room. Everyone knew that the Draconian motherships carried weapons that could destroy entire worlds. If they decided that Earth was too dangerous to exist, humanity would be wiped out in minutes. "What's stopping them?" General Harrison asked. "Their own people," Admiral Grant replied. "Those 24,000 soldiers trapped in our atmosphere include some of their most important military leaders. The fleet won't risk killing their own warriors with an orbital bombardment." Dr. Helen Brooks had been quiet during the discussion, but now she spoke up. "There's another factor to consider. If we help them now, when they're helpless, it sends a message about who we are as a species. We have the chance to show mercy to enemies who came to destroy us. Commander Zexathera floated in the emergency command center of his dying flagship. The artificial gravity had failed 3 days ago, and now everything drifted freely inside the ship. His warriors were running out of breathable air. The bioatmospheric processors had shut down completely, leaving them dependent on emergency oxygen supplies that would last perhaps 2 more days. Through the failing communication system, he listened to the debates raging among his fellow commanders on the other trapped ships. Some wanted to fight to the end, using their remaining weapons to cause as much damage as possible before they died. Others argued for requesting help from the fleet above, even if it meant admitting defeat. Zexathera had made his own decision. He activated the external communication array and began broadcasting on frequencies that the humans might be monitoring. "People of Earth," he said in carefully pronounced English that his language computers had taught him. "This is Commander Zexathera of the Draconian Empire. My warriors and I are dying in your sky. We came as conquerors, but your world has defeated us without firing a shot. I do not ask for mercy, but I offer information in exchange for the lives of my soldiers." In the NORAD Communications Center, Amy Taylor nearly dropped her coffee when the alien message came through. She had been monitoring all frequencies for days, hoping to intercept some useful intelligence. Now the enemy commander was speaking directly to them. "Admiral Grant," she called out, "you need to hear this transmission." Within minutes, the message was being analyzed by experts around the world. The alien commander was offering to share tactical information about the Draconian Empire in exchange for help saving his trapped soldiers. Dr. Cooper worked frantically in his laboratory, surrounded by prototypes of electromagnetic shielding devices. His team had been working around the clock to develop technology that could protect the alien biomechanics from Earth's magnetic field. "The theory is sound," he told his assistants, "but we need to test it on actual alien technology. The problem is getting close enough to one of their ships to attach our devices." Lieutenant Karen Stone had volunteered for the most dangerous mission of her career. Her modified helicopter carried the first prototype electromagnetic shield generator toward the nearest alien landing craft over Nevada. The massive ship hung motionless in the desert sky, its hull now completely dark except for a few flickering emergency lights. "Control, this is Stone approaching the target vessel," she reported. "The ship appears to be completely dead. I'm not detecting any defensive systems." As her helicopter drew closer to the alien ship, Karen could see that the biomechanical hull was covered in what looked like infection or decay. Large sections had changed from metallic green to a sickly brown color. The ship was clearly dying. Following the plan, she attached the electromagnetic shield generator to the ship's hull using a magnetic clamp. The device immediately began working, creating a protective field around a small section of the alien vessel. The results were immediate and dramatic. Lights began flickering on inside the ship. Parts of the hull started changing back to their healthy green color. The alien technology was responding to the electromagnetic protection. Commander Zexathera felt the change instantly. His neural connection to the ship's systems suddenly came back online. Life support systems began restarting. His warriors cheered as gravity returned to the ship, and fresh air began flowing through the corridors. But Zexathera knew this was just a temporary fix. The human device was small and could only protect a tiny portion of his massive ship. Still, it proved that the humans had found a way to help them. He opened a communication channel to the surface. "People of Earth, this is Commander Zexathera. Your device is working. My ship is partially functional again. I repeat my offer. We will share information about the Empire in exchange for help returning to orbit." General Harrison listened to the alien commander's message with mixed feelings. These beings had come to conquer Earth, to enslave or destroy humanity. By all rights, they deserved to die trapped in Earth's atmosphere. But the human ability to show mercy even to enemies was perhaps humanity's greatest strength. "Prepare the full-scale shielding operation," he ordered. "We're going to help them go home." Around the world, teams of engineers and scientists began preparing the largest rescue operation in human history. They were going to save the lives of 24,000 alien soldiers who had come to destroy them. It was either the most foolish decision ever made, or the most human one. The irony was not lost on anyone. Earth's natural defenses had defeated the alien invasion, but humanity's natural compassion was about to save the invaders. In trying to show mercy to their enemies, humans were taking the greatest risk of all, trusting that kindness might be stronger than conquest. The largest rescue operation in human history began at dawn on the 15th day after the alien fleet had arrived. Around the world, teams of engineers and scientists worked together to save the lives of beings who had come to destroy them. Dr. Alan Cooper stood on the deck of the aircraft carrier, USS Freedom, watching as helicopters carried electromagnetic shield generators toward the alien landing craft hovering over the Pacific Ocean. Each device was the size of a refrigerator and weighed nearly a ton, but they represented humanity's greatest technological achievement in just 2 weeks. Remember, he spoke into his radio to the helicopter pilots. The shields need to be placed at specific points along the ship's hull. The aliens are guiding us to the most critical systems. Trust their instructions. Commander Zexthera felt something he had never experienced in 300 years of military service: gratitude toward an enemy. Through his restored neural link, he was coordinating with human engineers to save his dying ship. The humans were risking their own lives to help warriors who had come to conquer their world. Human pilot, he spoke into his communication device, place the next shield generator near the biocore chamber. That section controls our life support systems. The voice that replied was calm and professional. Copy that, Commander. We're moving into position now. Zexthera watched through his ship's external cameras as tiny human aircraft flew around his massive vessel, carefully positioning the shield generators. Each device created a bubble of protection that allowed his biomechanical systems to function normally. Slowly, section by section, his ship was coming back to life. Admiral Lisa Grant coordinated the global effort from her command center at NORAD. On her screens, she could see all 12 alien landing craft slowly regaining power as human teams attached the electromagnetic shields. It was working, but it was also the most dangerous gamble in human history. Admiral, Captain Jake Morrison reported from the ISS. I'm seeing movement from the alien motherships in high orbit. They're repositioning but not approaching Earth. Lisa studied the orbital display. The main alien fleet was clearly watching the rescue operation with interest. She wondered what they were thinking as they watched humans save their trapped warriors. Dr. Helen Brooks monitored the electromagnetic readings from her laboratory in Atlanta. The shield generators were working perfectly, creating protected zones where alien technology could function normally. But she noticed something else in the data that made her smile. The aliens are sharing their technology with us, she told her assistant. Look at these readings. They're showing us exactly how their biomechanical systems work so we can protect them more effectively. It was an unprecedented exchange of knowledge between two species. The Draconians were teaching humans about biotechnology that was thousands of years ahead of Earth science. In return, humans were sharing their understanding of electromagnetic engineering. Lieutenant Karen Stone had made 17 trips between the aircraft carrier and the alien ship, each time carrying another shield generator. She was exhausted, but she kept flying. Lives depended on her precision and skill. On her final approach, she noticed something remarkable. Parts of the alien ship's hull were opening up, revealing internal chambers where Draconian warriors were working alongside human engineers. The two species were collaborating directly, sharing tools and knowledge to complete the rescue. Control, this is Stone, she reported. I can see humans and aliens working together inside the ship. They're actually helping each other install the shield generators. Commander Zexthera stood in his ship's main engineering bay, watching a human technician named Bob Williams explain electromagnetic theory to one of his bioengineers. The human was using simple drawings and hand gestures to communicate complex ideas. Despite the language barrier, the two engineers were understanding each other perfectly. Your technology is fascinating, Bob said through a translation device that the aliens had quickly built. These biomechanical systems are like nothing we've ever seen. Zexthera's engineer, a young female named Silvera, replied through the same device. Your electromagnetic knowledge saved our lives. We never considered that different worlds might have different energy fields. As the hours passed, something extraordinary was happening. Warriors who had been trained to conquer were learning to cooperate. Engineers from two different worlds were solving problems together. Fear was being replaced by curiosity and respect. General Pete Harrison received the final status report as the sun set over Washington, D.C. All 12 alien landing craft were now fully operational, their biomechanical systems protected by human shield technology. The rescue operation had been a complete success. Sir, Colonel Danny Walsh reported, Commander Zexathera is requesting permission to address the world's leaders directly. Put him through, General Harrison replied. The alien commander's face appeared on screens around the world. His reptilian features were alien, but his expression was unmistakably one of gratitude and respect. People of Earth, Zexathera began, I came to your world as a conqueror. I expected to find a primitive species that would surrender quickly to superior force. Instead, I found something that does not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. He paused, choosing his words carefully. You showed mercy to enemies who had come to destroy you. You risked your own lives to save ours when you could have simply watched us die. This is not weakness, as my people have always believed. This is a strength beyond anything the Draconian Empire has ever encountered. Around the world, humans watch their former enemies with a mixture of hope and caution. I am returning to my fleet with a message that will change the Empire forever, Zexathera continued. Earth will be marked as a protected world, not because of your weapons or your defenses, but because of your capacity for mercy. Any Draconian who threatens this world will answer to me personally. Dr. Cooper watched from the carrier deck as the first alien landing craft began its ascent back to orbit. The massive ship rose slowly through the atmosphere, its biomechanical systems functioning perfectly thanks to the shield generators that humans and aliens had installed together. One by one, all 12 ships began their journey back to the fleet, above. But they were not the same vessels that had descended 2 weeks earlier. They carried human technology, human knowledge, and most importantly, human friends. Captain Jake Morrison documented the moment from the ISS as the last alien landing. Craft reached the safety of high orbit. The rescue was complete. 24,000 Draconian warriors were alive because humanity had chosen compassion over vengeance. Houston, this is Morrison, he reported. All alien vessels have successfully returned to their fleet. I'm seeing the motherships beginning to move away from Earth. But this was not an ending. It was a beginning. Commander Zexathera kept his promise. Within months, the first official diplomatic mission arrived from the Draconian Empire. This time, they came not as conquerors but as allies, seeking to learn more about the strange species that had defeated them with kindness. The galaxy had never seen anything like humanity before. Most species fought with weapons and technology. Humans had won their first interstellar war with something far more powerful: the simple decision to help their enemies when they needed it most. Earth's natural defenses had stopped the invasion, but humanity's natural compassion had won something much more valuable than a military victory. They had gained the respect of an entire galactic empire and proved that mercy could be the ultimate form of strength. The universe would never be the same.